Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. We're thrilled to team up with ERP Connect Consulting to present the 7 apps every business central user needs. With over 2 decades of accounting experience, Mount Evans Consulting, MEC, brings unparalleled insights into ERP systems, especially Dynamics 365 Business Central. From scoping projects to post-implementation support, we work closely with our clients to create tailored systems that address unique business needs. Our pride lies in the impact we've made with our clients' businesses regarding the project size or scope. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Kristen Hossman, President of Mount Evans Consulting. The MEC team based in Denver, Colorado, is thrilled to have you join us today. Alongside me, we have 2 of our esteemed Business Central consultants, Chris and Crystal. We're also delighted to welcome Ben, President of ERP Connect Consulting, and Grant, VP of Sales, to our webinar. If you have any questions, please feel free to submit them in the Q&A section, and we'll do our best to address them. And for those of you who are heading to Denver next week for DynamicsCon Live, be sure to come say hi. We all will be there.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. I am going to share some slides here that we've got to get kicked off today. So like Kristen said, these are going to be the 7 apps that we've created that every Business Central end user can benefit from. Now, we're excited to present alongside Kristen today, and I just wanted to give a quick agenda for what we're going to be talking about. So as you probably saw in the invite, we're going to be talking about the 4 dashboards that we have built that are directly embedded inside of BC. Now, the keyword there is embedded, right? So everything you see today is going to be built directly in the system. You're not going to have to go out anywhere or integrate anything in. It's all going to be right in that user interface that you already know and are familiar with. So it should be super easy. These are going to include our financial and sales dashboards, our warehouse dashboard, and our history and statistics dashboard, which gives a deep dive into records like your customers, your vendors, your items, and even change logs on your bank accounts. In addition to some of those dashboards, we also have some automation tools that help your day-to-day become more efficient, right? So if you're doing invoice and statements, right? You want a more efficient way to do that. We have invoice and statement delivery that also includes some recurring revenue module items there as well. We've got advanced prepayments. If you've ever used prepayments in Business Central, you'll know that they're kind of stringent and locked down, right? So we give more flexibility into doing those, being able to update them on the fly, and even doing prepayments at a customer or vendor level that can apply to multiple invoices or sales orders. And then the final piece that we're going to talk about today is advanced accounting, which is a handful of different features, but think of these all to enhance your accounting department. The main ones we're going to focus on today are auto emailing of reports like your AR and AP aging, as well as a payment remittance dashboard for vendors and auto remittances that you can send immediately when posting payment journals. So we'll get into some additional resources at the end. I also have a Q&A slide at the end, but I like to do Q&A throughout. So Grant's going to be monitoring that chat box for us as well as that Q&A section. If you have any questions during the presentation, please put them in there. Feel free to interrupt and we'll answer those on the fly. I feel that's the best way to do things, just because then we can talk about the question while actually going through the content rather than jumping into it at the end. So without wasting any time, those of you who've seen some of our content before know that that we like to jump right into these live demos. So I'm going to jump out of here real quick and jump right into our financial dashboard. Grant, can you confirm that you can see the general tab here on our financial dashboard as we switch away from that PowerPoint?
Confirm, Ben.
Awesome. So like I said, we're going to start talking about this financial dashboard. The first thing you probably noticed is that this is all directly embedded into Business Central. It looks and feels like Business Central because it is, right? We've built it directly here. And I like to think of this one as a health check, right? So it's going to be high-level information and insights into your company information. We've got some quick KPIs here. You can tailor these. So you tell it what the goal is that you're trying to achieve. It's going to put the actuals in there. You can toggle between various date ranges that we have here, or even do a custom date range if you don't like the predefined options that we've created. And I like to focus on some things like AR or AP payments on time, right? I'd like to get 70% of our AR on time from our customers. We're getting 100% in the date range that we've defined here. That's absolutely fantastic. On the AP side, we want to get our vendors paid on time 70% of the time. We're only doing 67 there. So again, some basic coloring here that's going to tell us whether we're on goal or short of goal. And then we've got day sales outstanding here. Again, just another metric I like to track. I would like that metric to be on or under 25 days. We're at 15.11 in our demo instance here. So again, marching right on track there. As you can see, kind of a health check into your business. Are we on par or not? Balance checks. Krista, I know this one probably comes up with your clients a lot. Are we imbalanced general ledger to sub ledger? Now, I know you can go out and run your AP aging and compare it to, your vendor activity and your AP account in the general ledger. That's all great, but by the time you get done with that, you probably spend at least 15 or 20 minutes printing all those reports and making sure that everything ties out. This is a quick glimpse into, does it tie or not, right? Kind of that check engine light. Do we need to dive further? Do we need to take it in for service, or are we all good to go? More likely than not, what I find is if these are out of balance, people are working on fixing them, turning that direct posting on those subledger accounts off, and then that's going to prevent this from happening again, right? So again, just some quick glimpses into that data directly in Business Central. Now, I know a lot of you have probably already built some financial reports, previously called those account schedules, right, in Business Central. We allow some configuration here where you can just select what reports you want to display here so that you can get that one-stop shop look and feel. You don't have to come to the financial dashboard to look at our KPIs and then go over to your financial reports to see things you've already built. We have that all directly embedded right here. If you want to see those reports in kind of a larger view here, you can simply click across the top, and that's how easy it is. So we'll just click on these buttons as we go throughout the presentation today to flip into various aspects of our financial dashboard. Now, the next thing that I want to jump into is accounts receivable. Now, if you've been using Business Central for a while or just getting into Business Central, there's a few different things that you can look at. There's some PDFs, there's some Excel reports, right? But none of it is very interactive. So we've created this aged receivables kind of report here, or dashboard, so that you can see and interact with that data more easily. Now, this first piece is just going to be a pie chart as to how much you have in each bucket, as well as your total AR balance up top here. If I want to see what's in that 1 to 30, I can simply click on it. And since we're building this right into Business Central, it's going to pop up some tables that you're probably already familiar with, right? So this is just opening the customer ledger entries. And from here, you can do all your normal things, right? You can find entries, apply entries, all that jazz right in Business Central. If I want to see all of my customers, I can quickly sort up and down. This is going to be our highest balance to lowest balance now. And if I want to see what transportation direct, what that 37,000 is made up of, I can simply click into it and it's going to show me all the invoices and even unapplied payments or credit memos if you have any. Again, popping it right open to your customer ledger entries, filtered by the customer that you've selected. Now, you probably want even more details than that in your AR aging, right? So here we can see all of our customers, some basic information about them, credit limits, and then all of our aging buckets. Again, you'll probably get the theme here soon enough. You can click into all of these and it's going to show you the data that makes up. Now, I skipped some of these middle ones because these are custom functions that we've built into the AR aging. And we've got these average paydays. Think about that as your day sales outstanding per customer, as well as a late payer flag. So what this is doing, I'm going to sort high to low here. You can quickly kind of run a visual to see how often are they actually paying us. So this top one, it's taken them 123 days on average to pay their invoices. Now their terms is 7 days, but 7 days to me doesn't really mean much, right? So when we get into our cash forecasting later, it's actually going to use the average paydays based on the customer's kind of activity or behavior, right? Because realistically, that's when they're paying. Same with this one. Their pay terms are 30 days, but on average, it's taken them 52 days. Again, basic math there. If the average paydays is greater than the terms, we're going to mark them as a late payer. So you can quickly see kind of who those repeat offenders are that are paying you late. So again, just some various things that you can look at on our financial dashboard in order to make viewing that data in Business Central just a little bit easier. Now we're going to continue to go across here. We're not going to have time for everything today since time is limited, but I want to go over the highlights. So I'm skipping over accounts payable. It's going to look exactly like accounts receivable, just with your vendors, right? I've got a full-blown warehouse dashboard that we're going to show. So we're going to skip over high-level inventory, and then we got a sales dashboard. So I'm going to skip over sales as well. But cash, right? Everybody's interested in cash. How much cash do we have? How much cash are we burning? What are our historical cash trends? Now, these visuals quickly are going to give you how much money do you have in each bank account? Do my bank accounts tie general ledger to subledger? So again, like we looked at on that general tab for AR and AP and things like that, this is going to break down cash even more granularly. So the first thing I notice is that every bank account is tied to a individual unique GL account, which is absolutely fantastic. We want that to be the case. And all of my bank account posting groups tie to my GL balances, which is also great. If they didn't, it would tell us that they don't, and it would be nice and red over here indicating that they don't. Again, one of those things you probably want to clean up, turn direct posting off, and then be on your way going forward so that that doesn't happen again. Down here, in addition to bank accounts, you can also define some liquid assets. So think of things like clearing accounts potentially that money's sitting in. It's not going to clear for 2 or 3 days, but you've got 99% confidence that you're going to get that money, right? You might want to include that in your liquid assets. Historically, how has cash trended, right? Mine's pretty flat here. And then a personal favorite here is this cash forecast. So if you're using cash forecast or trying to use cash forecasting in Business Central, there's a lot of setup that goes around it and some maintenance that I've found. This isn't meant to completely replace that if you're already using that, but it's to give you a quick glimpse at your fingertips without any setup, right? So we're analyzing things like your open AR and your open AP. You can even include released sales orders and purchase orders, things like that, as well as your current cash balances. And then if you have any recurring expenses like payroll that probably aren't going to hit your subledger, you can even include those as well. And what this is attempting to do is kind of give you that cash flow to see how your cash burn's going. Again, in my case, we're pretty flat. That's good. But for companies who are burning cash faster, they might want to see, if we don't do anything else in terms of getting new money in, this is when we're going to, run out of money, things like that. But again, quickly going through it for the sake of time today, those are the highlights of the financial dashboard. There's about 30-ish KPIs and metrics and charts on this financial dashboard. Any questions so far, Grant, before we jump into that sales dashboard?
Yeah, Ben. So we had one question that Kristen answered in the chat. It was around where is this in our current version of BC? So for everyone on the call, like Kristen said, this would be an add-on for you. All of our extensions are built natively into BC, so looks, feels like Business Central because it is, kind of like Ben said at the start. But also, too, if everyone does want to hop in the chat box, also included a link to all of our extensions in AppSource, so you can check it out as well. Back to you, Ben.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. And I didn't mention this at the beginning, but for anybody who took the time out of their day today to join, we are going to be doing a 15% off any of our individual apps or any of our bundles. So feel free to reach out to Kristen or myself if that does interest you. And again, we'd be happy to get you set up with these in your instance. But that's a common question we get, right? Where are these in our Business Central instance? Because they look so embedded a lot of times when showing these to people. If we don't mention that they're extensions, thank you, Grant, for doing so. That can be the case. And we do get those questions, which is why we wanted to mention at the beginning that these are popular extensions that help people work more efficiently in Business Central. So we've got 4 dashboards. We're going to keep cruising through here. Skipped over probably half of the financial dashboard stuff, but would highly recommend getting one of those downloaded into your demo instance. You can download those, by the way, into your instance on a free demo key. So kind of a try before you buy. Would highly recommend that as well. All those download links are going to be in that link that Grant sent over in the chat. So we're on sales dashboard now. Again, just some high level visuals that we're going to be looking at to do a deep dive into your sales data. Right now, I've got the geo view, so we can quickly see how much we're selling into each state or territory and how much we're selling across the globe. If you only sell in the United States, for example, you can hide this so that you're only seeing how much you're selling per state. And I didn't do this before on the financial dashboard, but we'll look at this now. I can toggle these dates. It doesn't look like I have anything last month. Let's do last 3 months. You can toggle these dates, and it's going to quickly filter the data by the date range you're running. And of course, you can also run custom date ranges. So again, quick view. I'm going to continue to harp on this, but it all has drill downs, right? So if I want to see what we're doing in Texas, which is where I'm located, I can go there and quickly see all the activity that we have. Again, sales dashboard, as we come across here, I'm in the by date tab now, so I can quickly see how much have we sold today, this week, this month, this year. I can drill down into all of that. Sales by date. So I like to call this one out because not only can it help you look at your data and analyze it to see how you're performing, it can also help identify outliers, right? So in this sales by date, all of a sudden on September 26th, we've got this huge margin jump, right? That might indicate to me I need to go take a look at, either my customer ledger entries or my posted sales invoices, something like that, to see what this outlier is. I likely didn't make $2 million on whatever sale that was. So that to me indicates that something probably is a little fishy there and I want to go take a look at it, right? So multi-use purpose, right? Not just pretty visuals that you can look at, but also exception management type things with this, as well as those balance checks that we talked about earlier. Year to date, over the last 6 years, how much are we selling per year? And then in the current fiscal year, month by month, how much have we sold? And again, you can drill down into any of that and it's going to pop that open. So main thing you're seeing today is how easy it is to directly see your data in Business Central and kind of click between these. Now, again, on the sales dashboard, there's a ton more. I would highly recommend getting this in your sandbox so that you can play around with it. It's going to be much more powerful if you see your own data in these grids rather than our demo data. And again, just for the sake of time, we'll jump through. But we've got the geo by date. You can do sales by item, sales by dimension, sales by salesperson, sales by customer, tons of different pre-built options to slice and dice by. Now, my personal favorite of the 4 dashboards that we have built is called History and Statistics. And the reason I love this is because everything else we've shown has been very high level, which is great. You're seeing how you run, the business is running, looking for exceptions and all that kind of stuff. But I'm a details guy, so I like to see really granular. What are our customers doing by customer? So this is going to accomplish that. And we can do this for customers, vendors, and items. So I'm on a customer card right now, and I can quickly see pretty much everything this customer is doing. It's great for sales teams, great for customer service teams, anybody who's dealing with customers on a day-to-day basis. So we've got how much sales have we done with them over the last 12 months? What's their current AR balance? That DSO or average pay days, fulfillment days, on-time delivery percentage. What's this customer buying by item category, right? Again, I can toggle things on and off to show various kind of slice and dice type things here. Monthly sales, how much has this customer been buying from us over the last 12 months? We can see a huge influx in September. Are we going to get that again this September? Was it, preemptive to the holidays, things like that, analyzing the customer at a very granular basis. This is some AR statistics. So average payday trends, AR trends, AR balance trends. This is one of those customers we highlighted as a late payer. And pretty much ever since we started doing business with them, they're maybe chipping away at it a little bit, but they're not doing too good of a job of actually making sure that total balance gets taken care of, and they're getting really close to their credit limit, right? So now you can see all these things kind of in one view. Down here, what are the top items that they're buying from us over the last 12 months? Simple things like a map, where they located, what's every item they've bought from us in the last 12 months, sales quantities, how much have they returned, dollar amounts, things like that. Every open order they've got with us right now, every open quote, every open return. Again, you can drill down into all of that. If you do jobs, you can see all the jobs that this customer currently has that we're working on for them. Every posted invoice for this customer. And then one of my personal favorites, and I've been getting a lot of emails about this one this morning even, is these change logs. So if you're using change logs, all you have to do is turn this on and you'll see this all in a matter of seconds. You don't have to go reconfigure anything. This is pulling from the out-of-box changelog table, which also includes field monitoring. So if you're using field monitoring or change logs, both of those will be applicable here. And the goal is to get that one-stop shop, right? So you don't have to go sift through your changelog entries. You come right to the customer and it'll tell you what's changed on this record, when it changed, who changed it, what it used to be, and what it is now. So for anybody using changelogs, I've literally seen people use this just for the change logs alone and not even all this other, fun stuff that we've got up here in the graphs, just because of how powerful that change log granularity is. So again, customers, vendors, items, it's all going to look the same. Highly encourage you to use that link that Grant sent over to get this into your demo instance and check out what your data looks like, drill into a few customers, drill into a few items, and do that deep dive data analytics on one specific record. So high level financial dashboard, high level sales dashboard, really granular history and statistics. And the last one we're going to jump into before going into some of our productivity and automation tools is going to be our warehouse dashboard. But before I do, there is actually one bonus feature in history and statistics that I'll show here. I'm going to get back to the home page. And it's called sales document search. So if I come to sales document search, one of the things I always hear is, customer service teams or people looking for data in their system. There's a lot of different places this stuff lives, right? If you're intimate with the sales department, you'll know we've got open orders, we've got open invoices, we've got posted shipments, we've got posted invoices, we've got archived orders, right? The list goes on. And actually, if I put this down, we'll show you the list, right? So all these sales documents are different tables and pages in Business Central. And if you don't know where something is, you may have to search across all of these. Now, I know there's that kind of global search, which we'll show as well here in a second. That's an out-of-box feature, but we'll show you what the additional benefits here are of sales document search. So I'm going to select every document in the system. I've already got a customer filter here. I'm going to get rid of this item filter, and I'm just going to click load records. And what this is doing is it's searching across your entire database to find all of the records in the system that match that criteria. So I'm going to hide the filters just so we can have some more real estate here. Now what you're seeing is every quote, every order, every invoice, every return order, every posted shipment, right? You get the idea. The list goes on. It's showing everything that fulfills that criteria. And you can click this drop down and it will expand all these. Or let's say you just know it's this order, right? You can just click the drop down on this order and it's going to show you now the lines that are on that order. If I scroll over to the right, or if you just have a bigger monitor than I do, you can see, okay, what items were on that order, what were the quantities, what were the unit prices, descriptions, things like that. And of course, again, drill downs, click the sales order number, and it's going to pop that sales order open for you directly in this screen. You can edit it from there, do whatever you need, all of that fun stuff, right? Shows you what quote it came from, dates, a lot of powerful things here. You can even save this view. So if I want to save it, I can call it Ben's MEC demo view, and I can save this for later, right? Now, if I come back, I don't have to build those filters out again. I can just click that. Now, if I go to the filters, not only can we filter on customer number, we can do the order. So let's say 01110 is the one I'm going to use here, SORD 01110. I'm going to copy that for later because I'm going to show one more thing. Just click that, and now I can see we still have an open order, and I've got 3 archived orders, right? So if you got those archives turned on, it's going to return that data as well. And again, just going to work like we showed before with the drop downs and the drill downs. Now let's compare that to this global search, right? So this search company data, which is a totally fine alternative if you like using this. The only thing you'll notice here is in order to see those documents, I've got to click into every single one. I don't know what the lines are yet, which is fine. I can see them here, but there might be 10 or 20 records in whatever you're searching for. Maybe you're searching by customer number or a date range or something like that. So as you can see, this is a good starting point. But if you really want to dive into the details and see all of that line item data directly in the system, this sales document search is going to be one of your best friends. On that sales dashboard that we've got as well, we've also got the ability to search multiple documents across multiple companies in Business Central. So just another tidbit of information there. As you can see, a lot of different things. Won't have a full hour, be able to get all those done in an hour. So want to show you the highlights and the most popular features that people are giving us positive feedback on here. Grant, any additional questions before I jump into that warehouse dashboard?
You're rolling, Ben. Good to go.
Cool. So I like to do a 30 and 30 minutes dashboard, 30 minutes productivity and automation. So I got about 6 minutes left if I'm doing a time check. On the warehouse dashboard, this is going to be everything related to what you're buying from your vendors, what you're receiving in from your vendors, what you've got going out for your customers, inventory things like counts and adjustments, shipments, receipts. And what I'm on right now is actually the vendor analytics. So this is looking at all of the vendors that we're purchasing from, some basic information about the vendors, right? Do they have any primary items that we buy from them, right? If this vendor's assigned to those items, that'll show up here. What's the vendor's balance, number of PO lines, things like that, what we bought from them, how much money we've spent with them, and then this performance score. So what the performance score is doing is it's taking a look at both the on-time delivery percentage for the vendor, as well as the quantity or the percentage of returns versus what we're receiving into the warehouse, right? So this is kind of quickly giving you a glimpse of, we call it the vendor score, right? So based on time delivery and returns, how are they performing, right? This vendor, AG, 18.87% of the things that we buy from them we're returning, right? That's not good when everybody else is at 0. So we might want to look into why that's happening again, trying to identify some outliers. And then here we can look at the overall scores. So based on the fact that they deliver 45% of the time on time and 18% of that time we get those deliveries, we have to return them, right? They get a score of 2.5. So not too great, maybe not a vendor that we want to work with. Everybody else, though, luckily is top of the charts right here. So again, as we go through this, just more visibility and data into your warehouse. I'm going to jump over to the shipments tab real quick. Shipments and receipts are going to look very similar in terms of how this dashboard looks, obviously on opposite sides of the house. So if I jump into the shipments here, get rid of that error message that we've got for our 24 that's been postponed. I'm sure a lot of you guys are experiencing that one as well. Hopefully that's back up soon. We've got how much are we shipping today, this week, this month, this year? What's our daily average, dollar amounts, number of shipments, number of shipment lines? Again, analyzing warehouse activity and how much volume we're doing by day, by year, by month, and then by day of week, right? So I like to point this one out. In this case, it's basically flat Monday through Thursday and Sunday in terms of what we're shipping out. On Friday and Saturday, statistically, we aren't shipping anything. So that could be a good indication to you that if you think you're shipping things, well, something's going on in the warehouse. Or if truly nothing goes out on Friday and Saturday and we've got people working, potentially to kind of reallocate them to different days just to optimize those schedules, right? Because we've got people sitting there in the shipping department and statistically nothing's ever getting shipped out on Friday or Saturday, right? So again, the data's not there just to look at, right? It's to take action on as well. And that's kind of what I want to allude to as well as we go through these. The last thing I've got time for on this one, let's see, what's my next favorite? Probably the purchase orders. Now, if you're doing a lot of purchasing, getting late deliveries from vendors can be very costly, right? Because now you're not able to fulfill your sales orders or you're not able to stock your shelves accordingly to some of your MRP standards, things like that. This is going to show you every item that we've got on purchase orders right now that's past its expected receipt date, right? And when the next time that we're going to need this item, the receiving status is going to tell us whether it's for a stock order, if it's linked to a sales order, or if it's for a special order. And then my favorite part on this one, let's just click this item, for example. I could select all of them at the same time, by the way. I'm just going to send this follow-up. And what this is doing is I'm the email on my vendor, but it just emailed my vendor, right? Saying, hey, this purchase order we were expected to receive it on 7/11/2023. We still haven't gotten it. Where's our stuff at, right? And let me look at this email that we just got. So it's a templated email that you can send, hey, we issued a purchase order. It's past this expected receipt date. Here are the items that were on it. Here was the document number, quantity, PO amount, and we requested it on 7/11/23. Again, everyone's probably not going to respond to these, but if we can even get 80 to 90% of these emails to be effective, it's going to decrease our latency on those purchase orders that we're receiving, right? So not only are we looking at the data, but we're doing things that will hopefully help them take action on their shortcomings of not delivering these types of things on time, right? And if we go back into that dashboard view, it gives you that one-stop shop look and feel, right? So everything in one place. Again, you can kind of look at this, sort up and down. So we're buying item 1017 from probably a handful of different vendors. I really need item 1017 because we got negative quantities here. And again, just pop those open, send the email, and it's going to ship all those emails off to your vendors. Any other questions, Grant? That kind of wraps up the dashboarding piece of it. So everything so far has been focused on visualizing your data, seeing that data in the system, and then hopefully using that data to take some action and improve your day-to-day operations. The next thing we're going to get into is actually improving those day-to-day operations, right? By doing things more efficiently and saving time in your day-to-day processes.
Yeah, Ben. So I'm going to push this one back on the audience, actually. So everyone on the call, if you go into Teams, and you see the little react button with a smiley face, if you've seen anything you've liked so far on the dashboard side, throw us a reaction. Let's see how everyone's liked the presentation so far, Ben. All right, we got one heart, we got some claps, got a thumbs up. All right, beautiful. So Ben, back to you to take it to the automation side.
Awesome. I think the heart was from me. I was just a little biased there, but I thought it was pretty decent. So hopefully everybody else liked it too. Next thing we're going to do is jump into invoice and statement delivery. Now, I don't really like to show setups during demos, but I think this one's powerful just for how easy it is to set all these things up. So we'll spend about 60 seconds on it. Invoice and statement delivery is all about getting documents out to your customers in a more timely manner. We've also got one thing where you can auto email yourself your AR aging every day. So again, we just got a little template right here. It'll show you your balances per bucket and then also attach an Excel document that has that detailed aging that we saw in the financial dashboard as well. Outside of that, everything's going to go to your customers. So we've got invoices, we've got credit memos, payment receipts, statements, and past due reminders, automating all of these, the delivery of these documents to your customers, right? So if we look at invoices, there's 3 options, and this is going to be the same for all of them. So we'll just go through it quick. You can send on post, which is going to be this email upon posting. As soon as you click post, it's not going to open you up into those dialog boxes. It's not going to ask you, is this the right email for the customer? Is this the body of the email that you want, right? Which sometimes people need that, sure, but more often than not, you're just sending the same thing over and over again with a prepackaged template, right? If you need a one-off for a customer, you can still do that in a little bit of a different way. But the goal of this is to be sending a lot of documents out and getting those out without having to go through all those extra dialog boxes. This also allows you to easily make email templates with rich text HTML. So I can see right here that everything in this is just like you're typing an email, right? So you don't have to deal with any of the document layouts or anything like that in Business Central. You can post that directly. You can send it from a dashboard after the fact, or you can schedule this on a job queue that we've pre-created just to say, okay, everything that was posted today, just send it out at 7 p.m. tonight, let's say, right? And by doing so, now you don't have to worry about going into all the documents and resending things, and you can see it all in one spot, as well as who sent it and when it was sent. So that's going to apply to all of these. Past due reminders is one of my favorites. So not only are you going to send those invoices out immediately, this is going to be similar to like the finance charges and the reminders in Business Central, but again, a little bit easier to use and more streamlined. So what this is going to do is 2 days before the invoice is due, it's going to automatically send them an email saying, hey, you've got, your invoice is due in 2 days, maybe something, nice and friendly. And then every 7 days after that, you can, of course, define these intervals yourself. Every 7 days after that, it's going to remind them that, hey, you're now 7 days overdue. You're 14 days after due. You're 21 days after due, right? Those dunning notices to continuously remind them until those payments have been received, or for everybody in Business Central, that remaining amount goes to 0, right? So everything there is emailing people out, and then this recurring documents function. Grant, we could use the React to see if anybody's using this. So if anybody uses the copy document function or the recurring sales lines religiously on a day-to-day or week-by-week basis, put a little whatever, the React thing up there, just because I want to get a quick pull of this. This is going to save you so much time if you're reacting to this right now. And I'll show you how. So we're going to jump into that real quick here. If I come to my recurring sales documents, don't have to click any of those extra buttons. What it's actually doing is building kind of a sales invoice or sales order template. Let's jump into this one. It's building a template. I'm going to show less there. Just like you'd have a regular sales invoice, right? So it looks and feels exactly like a sales invoice, but we took some of the logic out of what you're probably familiar with in the recurring general journals in terms of recurring frequencies and dates and things like that. And we're putting them in the sales document. So here you're able to say, okay, every month I want this to recur. I want to create it and leave it open. You can also create and release it, or even create and post it. Remember that other function we had of automatically send on post. So if you're automatically creating and posting these recurring documents, it's also going to automatically email them out to your clients, which is really cool. I'm going to do leave open for the sake of the demo. When's the next date it's going to occur? So on 3/1, it's going to prompt us that this document needs to be generated, but it's going to post on 4/1. So you can have some flexibility there. Of course, you could have 4/1 and 4/1 here, but just kind of showing the different options that you've got here. I took out the expiration date here, but if I do like 12/31/2025 or something like that, it's going to take that expired flag off, right? So you can have an expiration date. At that expiration date, it's no longer going to generate. Or You can, of course, put it on hold as well if you just don't want it to generate in the future. Now, what this is going to do is you can probably see you don't have to go out to copy document and find an old one and then change the headers and the lines and all those options that it asks you for, right? You don't have to use the recurring sales line, which I agree is a great function for low volume. But if you want to take it one step up, this is like the recurring sales lines on steroids, right? Because it's going to have the document fully pre-built for you. And we even have some wildcards down here. So these are going to be things like the month, the year, all sorts of different wildcards here. If you hover over it, it'll tell you what all those are so you can tailor it to your needs. Those are going to be available both in the description and the external document. So 3.4 here is going to be month and year. So maybe I say, monthly fees for 3.4 when I generate this in June, or in this case, April, I guess it's going to say April monthly fees for April 2024, right? So as I'm generating that, I'm not having to update the descriptions or anything like that, just like those recurring general journals. It's going to do that all automatically for me. Now, the beauty of that is that now when I come out to my, if I just type in recurring, should pop everything up. So I've got the recurring sales documents, and then I've got the recurring sales documents to be invoiced. If I ever look at this, it's going to show me everything that is currently ready to be invoiced based on the occurrence date. So obviously all these are in the past, and it's kind of saying, hey, you never generated these, you need to. And all you have to do is go ahead and click the generate sales documents. So let's do, which one did I do? I think it was this one. It's going to create a sales invoice. Just go ahead and click yes. You can select all of them at the same time, of course. And then I did leave open, so it's going to be in my sales invoices. Come down to the bottom, you'll notice it says monthly fees for April 2024. And even though we generated it on 3.1, it's actually going to post it as a 4.1. It's just kind of giving us a heads up, right? I want to invoice it maybe 30 days in advance. And then here you see those wildcards getting brought in. So I've got like my company name, the client name, the month, all the things like that. And then of course, I can just go ahead and get this one posted. And after it posts, it's going to do two things. One, it's going to send me an email automatically. Notice there's no dialog boxes or anything like that popped up. And if I come into my invoice, if I can spell right, invoice delivery dashboard, I should be able to see all of these right here. So we can see it was sent on 5/9/2024 at 11:37 a.m. on Central Time, and it was sent by Ben, right? What was the delivery date? What was the external document number? Who's the customer? I can, if I don't send those on post, I can even customize the email body before it goes out. I can pull in the standard and then kind of change it or update it if I really want to. And then I can even click into the document here and see it directly from this dashboard. So kind of your one-stop shop to see all of the information that's being sent out there. And then of course, if I needed to send a bunch of these again, or I didn't do send on post, I can come up here quickly and just send the email directly from the invoice delivery dashboard. That button's also going to be available on the actual document itself. Now, if I search for ISD, it's going to show me all the different things that we can do with invoice and statement delivery, right? We've got the invoice delivery, we've got the invoice reminders, we've got the statements. The one thing I'll point out on the statements is you have the ability not only to send a statement, but the documents that are attached to the statement. So any open invoices that are on that statement, you can now include when that statement's automatically sent out. Because what's the biggest question we all get when we send statements? Hey, I never got that invoice. Can you send it to me, right? Now you got to go back into the system and you got to resend all those invoices, which again, just takes more time. Let me look here. We've got this email I'm going to pull over. So this is the email I automatically got at 11:38, so just a few minutes ago. Thanks for being a valid client. Please find your invoice. Amount due is $1,300, and the due date's 4/8, and it's got my invoice attachment here, right? So again, I didn't have to go through anything. We're just automatically sending those out as soon as they post, which again is a configuration option. You don't have to do it that way. Some people will post them all and then go send them from the dashboard after. I would even recommend doing that when you get started, because if you're just sending on posting before you've perfected kind of your email template, you might send things out inadvertently, right? So I always like to start from the dashboard, make sure it's working. And then of course I like to automate after that, but kind of, walk before you run. And you don't have to update all of your customers' emails to test this. Just put your email address right in here. And what that's going to do is it's going to override when you're sending it out. So if this is populated, this is who it's going to send to. So you don't need to worry about like going and making sure the customer record's updated so that you can do some testing. High level, that is the invoice and statement delivery tool. Behind the financial dashboard, which is our #1 most downloaded and bestseller, this is #2. So again, highly recommend checking this out if you're looking to optimize your AR activities. We've noticed, again, using this in combination with the financial dashboard where you can track your day sales outstanding, this decreases that by about 25 to 30% we're finding with our clients. So if you're looking to get paid faster, check out invoice and statement delivery, especially the free trial. Now, advanced prepayments is going to be next. And I know I talked about this a little bit, but what I really want to focus on here for advanced prepayments is the ability to do prepayments at a customer level. Now, this feature is non-existent in Business Central today. So if you need to send prepayments for customers that, again, they're going to pay you off that invoice, but you don't know what invoices it's going to apply to. I like to use law firms as the best example, right? You're just going to pay your attorney 10 grand and that's going to be the retainer. And we have no idea when we're going to call our attorney or when they're going to bill us and things like that. They'll probably bill us weekly or monthly, and they're just going to chip away at that retainer as we go. That's kind of the example here, but it applies to anybody doing prepayments at kind of a general customer level rather than invoice to invoice. So let me find, let's use this one here that we've got. This was another person I was helping out the other day. So I'm on the customer card now, and all I have to do is click advanced prepayments here. And I can do $5,000, let's say, right? I'm just going to do today's date. I've already got one down here, it looks like. And I'm going to post this prepayment invoice. Now, what this is going to do is it creates a prepayment invoice automatically for us. It's got customer prepayment on account. It's going to get booked against whatever balance sheet account you define, but typically it's going to be some sort of deferred revenue account or deposits account, right? And now I have a document out there that they can pay us $5,000 on. You'll also notice here that life to date, I've invoiced them for $31,000 of prepayments, and this $5,000 is what I have left. So think of that again as something that can show up on the invoice to say, okay, this invoice was $1,000. We're going to take $1,000 out of your prepayment, and now $4,000 is left, and you don't owe us anything on the invoice, right? So it kind of automates all of those pieces. I'm going to go make a quick cash receipt real quick just so we can go through this end to end. Bear with me. Grant, while I do this, let me know if there's any other questions.
Nothing on this end, Ben.
Sounds good. All right, let's go apply this doc number. It was this 5,000. Awesome. I think I got everything. Probably need a customer code. I think that's a default. All right, let's post that guy. Perfect. So now if I come back into that kind of like dashboardy view for the advanced prepayments, it'll show me that the remaining amount, kind of the payment amount, right? We've paid this invoice. Now we've got that $5,000 here on our prepayment. I can even export the summary to Excel, so it'll show me all the prepayments we've got and all the applications. Sometimes customers will require that you send that to them monthly or something like that. And we also have an AR. Let's see where it is. Let's go to APM dashboard. Here we go. This will show you across all of your customers, all the different prepayments and how much you have remaining. So again, I can see quickly that customer 7,800, we've got $5,000 remaining on their account, right? Now, if I come out to a sales order, it will automatically apply those funds to the sales order, assuming that we don't exempt it. So there is an exemption flag. If you don't want to use the prepayment funds from your retainer, your deposit, you can do so. But again, by default, it's going to try to use those funds. You can have that default set up at your customer level as well if you want to always default it and only take it off when there's an exception. Add an item real quick. We're not going to have time to talk about this one today, but we've got an advanced notifications tool. It's got pop-up notes and ad hoc notes and fun stuff like that. So if you like notes and communicating directly in Business Central, check out that advanced notifications as well. Just going to make this $1,000 so it's nice and easy. And I was playing with this one earlier, so let me check my setup real quick just to make sure. This will also show you how easy it is to set up. This is the advanced prepayment setup. What account do you want? And then just some, we're going to focus on this one right here, the generate prepaid balance line. So this will actually show them on their invoice how much they have left remaining on their prepayment. But pretty easy setups there, so we should be good to go. And again, we'll take a look at this. Awesome. So just like I mentioned, and I'm probably going to get an email for this as well, because this was coming from invoice and statement delivery, like everything does. They bought item 1017 from us for $1,000, right? They had a prepayment, so we're going to say the funds applied from the prepayment retainer. We're going to take 1,000 out. This invoice is going to show a $0 balance, which is very important, right? Because the other things I've seen people do is they're using prepayments, but they're really just doing cash receipts and applying them after the fact. Their customer gets an invoice that says they owe money, but really they don't, and they're getting confused, right? So this makes it very explicit that, hey, we sold you this $1,000 item. We took $1,000 out of your prepayment. You've got $4,000 left, by the way, right? That's an added bonus there. And you don't owe us anything. And you can still send this directly from invoice and statement delivery, right? So they'll get that. They'll see, hey, we don't know anything, but thank you for, letting us know that something happened or that you sent us something or provided some service. And you can go on your merry way, right? So now if I come back to my customer, whether it be from the dashboard or just directly from the customer card, I can come to my advanced prepayment. And again, I can see now I have $4,000 left. If I scroll down, it'll show me all the applications that have occurred for this customer's prepayments. And like I said, you can even export this to Excel if you'd like. I know everybody still loves Excel, right? So you can download this to Excel. You can email it off to somebody if you need. Where'd that pop up? Let me drag it over here real quick. And that's pretty much it for the advanced prepayments in terms of the customer side. I'm just going to show you this Excel sheet real quick that we've got. So your invoices, I did a 75,000 and a 5,000. We did a credit memo, it looks like, and then 2 prepayment applications to get us down to $4,000 as our current balance, right? So the biggest application here is going to be that piece, but I don't want to sleep on the other functionality, which is just the greater flexibility that this offers if you're doing sales order or purchase order prepayments. So anybody who's used those knows you issue the prepayment, kind of locks everything down, right? If you want to change a line, good luck, right? You gotta void out the entire prepayment. You got to change the lines, then you got to rebook the prepayment, and you can only have one prepayment, right? So all of those things, we allow greater flexibility. You can issue a prepayment. You can change lines after that prepayment has been created without voiding it. You can add a second prepayment, or you can credit part of the prepayment, right? So a lot of flexibility there. And then the question I usually get asked, right, is, well, if I have a $10,000 order and I do a $10,000 prepayment and then I change the lines, what happens, right? If you change it up to 12,000, it's just going to use the 10,000 they already paid and say, hey, you got $2,000 on, AR for us, AP for them. And if it's 8,000, it'll still use the full 10,000 and it'll automatically create a credit memo for the remaining 2,000. So you can either use that to apply to future invoices potentially. You can refund it if you want, if they're not going to work with you anymore or something like that. But all of those scenarios are accounted for, and you should be good to go there. So any questions, Grant, so far on advanced prepayments? I know there's a lot of information there, but I got about 10 minutes left, and there's a few more things I wanted to show, but I'm going to show advanced accounting real quick, specifically the vendor remittances and the auto emailing of the reports if there's no additional questions.
Good to go on this end, Ben.
Sounds good. All right. So everybody's got to pay vendors, right? Everybody loves the payment journals and processing the Nacha files and all that fun stuff. Now, what we've done is created a payment remittance dashboard that, similar to some of the other dashboards that we've seen here, will give you key information. When was it posted? Who sent it? When was it sent? And what's the current status of the send there? This table gets populated anytime you're posting any of those payment journals, and from the payment journal, similar to what we did on invoice and statement delivery, where you're posting an invoice and it's automatically sending, you can do the same thing here. So I can automatically send a vendor remittance on posting of that. For now, I'm just going to send this email real quick and show you kind of like what the format looks like. So again, you can select one, you can select many, whatever you want to do there. And if I come over to my email here, going to look something like this, right? So please find your remittance from ERP Connect for client name. You can put a signature in there, all that fun stuff. I need to download that real quick. And then over here, I can see what that was applied to, right? So I see my posting date, my document that it was applied to, the amounts, and all that kind of stuff. So if you don't have a remittance form that you like today, or you just want to use ours, both are totally acceptable. But again, this is going to help get your vendors notified as soon as they're paid without having to, again, go through various dialog boxes or download files or whatever else you might be doing today. So if you have a high volume of vendor remittances, I'd highly recommend checking this one out. And then the last thing that I want to show is that's part of our advanced accounting tool, by the way, is this setup piece here. So we talked about the AR aging piece and financial dashboard. We can do that with balance sheet, income statement, AR aging, AP aging, inventory valuation, job WIP, and sales summary. So again, you kind of just configure this how you want it to look. You can have different wildcards and buckets here. And I'm going to run it manually, but typically you'd put this on a job queue. Just going to run the AR aging real quick. And what this is doing is, let's say every night at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. or whatever time you'd like, you're going to auto email that AR aging report, and it's going to look something like this, right? And just to confirm, it literally just sent, right? And we've got AR for 5.9. I've got a deposit for $5,000. That's that deposit that we did during the advanced prepayment piece. So it's showing how much money we've gotten in the door today, and then what's in each aging bucket, right? And then of course, if I want to see that in the Excel-based report, this is going to automatically come to your inbox. So I would use this. And then if you want to get more granular and dig into transactions, you can go out to the financial dashboard. But all of this is going to exist directly in Business Central. So customers, we're even doing our average paydays formula again that we've got there. So you can see that, pay terms, credit limits, and then their balances. And by default, when you get that Excel file, it's sorting it highest to lowest. So you see your kind of most delinquent customers up there at the top. If you want to call them, you got their phone number right there and all of that good stuff. Now, I know that was a ton of information in just about 50 minutes, but that's only 7 of the 28 tools that we have in Business Central today. Those are kind of our 7 best sellers, but I would recommend checking out our website, bctoolbox.com, and that's going to give you our entire library of all the different tools that we have available to you. Again, all of those come with a 30-day free trial, and for attending this webinar, which we really appreciate, we'll give anybody who attended 15% off of their first year through the end of the month if they decide that they want to move forward. So with that, Kristen, I'm going to jump back into the PowerPoint just to close things down. Anything else there that you have, or things that you've seen your clients use from what we've shown today that's really hit home?
Yeah, I mean, I think the auto emailing is highly desired. That's one thing that a lot of our clients ask for when they're doing high volume AR transactions. Also, the vendor remittances, the clunkiness of the out of the box functionality for that, this is highly desired. So good demo. Appreciate it, Ben.
Awesome. Yeah, I just have a few more things I'm going to wrap up with. I know I mentioned these already, but check out our product page, bctoolbox.com. You can also find everything on AppSource. That's where you're going to download your free trials. This all includes either the product page or AppSource summaries, screenshots, and user and setup guides. If you kind of just want to self-learn or you want to go through it yourself, Kristen and I can also, of course, help you if you want to engage directly with one of us to help with that setup. We've got a YouTube channel. Things like this are out there. We've got prepackaged recordings and demos that'll walk you through all the setup and kind of the use cases of our various apps. And we also have a product guide. This is going to include a one-pager for each of our 28 apps. It's going to have fit gaps, kind of tell you traditionally how long it takes to configure and get trained on these things. So, a financial dashboard, you'll have up and running in less than an hour typically, just because it's so light on configuration. Just download it and 80% of it pretty much works out of box. But those are going to be the key resources. Again, if you want to follow up with anybody, of course, feel free to follow up with us directly, and we're happy to answer any of your questions. But ultimately, appreciate everybody being here today. I'll stick around for a few more minutes for Q&A. And Kristen, just really appreciate you having us out here today.